Hey Reddit, I'm Olivia, 34, and I made the mistake of letting my younger brother move in with me. At first, it seemed like the right thing to do. Adam, 27, had lost his job and was struggling to get back on his feet. His girlfriend, Samantha, 25, was pregnant, and they were barely scraping by in a tiny apartment they could no longer afford. They needed help, and I believed in helping family. So, against my better judgment, I told them they could stay in my home for free until they got back on their feet. No rent, no bills, nothing. Just a place to stay while they figured things out. I didn't expect them to be perfect guests, but I never in a million years thought it would end the way it did. The first few weeks weren't terrible, but they weren't great either. Adam spent most of his time playing video games. I had assumed he'd be job hunting, sending out applications, doing something. Instead, he acted like he was on vacation. Samantha wasn't much better. She did nothing but complain about the house, about the food, about how stressful pregnancy was. Which, sure, pregnancy isn't easy, but she expected to be waited on hand and foot while contributing absolutely nothing in return. But the worst part? The way they treated my husband, Daniel. Daniel is disabled. A year ago, he was in a horrific car accident that left him with permanent mobility issues. He still walks, but not without difficulty. His recovery has been brutal, both physically and emotionally. I had warned Adam and Samantha about this before they moved in. I told them Daniel was still adjusting to his new normal, that he was doing his best. But instead of showing even a little bit of respect, they acted like he was some burden. Adam made snide comments about how Daniel shouldn't expect special treatment. Samantha constantly rolled her eyes whenever he asked for help with something. And one time, I caught Adam muttering under his breath about how I married weak. I should have kicked him out right then, but I didn't. I kept telling myself I was overreacting, that they were just stressed, that things would get better once they settled in. I was so wrong, because last night, they crossed a line they could never come back from. I should have seen it coming. The tension in my house had been boiling for weeks. Adam and Samantha had been acting like entitled freeloaders, treating my husband, Daniel, like a second-class citizen in his own home. But last night, they went too far. It started over something stupid. I was in the kitchen, cleaning up after dinner. Daniel had gone to rest in the bedroom. His pain had been worse than usual, and he needed a break. Adam and Samantha, of course, hadn't lifted a finger to help. Instead, they were sprawled on my couch, doing nothing like always. Then, out of nowhere, I heard laughter. Loud, obnoxious, mean-spirited laughter. I walked into the living room and immediately felt my stomach drop. Adam was mocking the way Daniel walked. He was exaggerating a limp, hunched over like he was some kind of joke, dragging his foot across the floor while Samantha covered her mouth, giggling. I just stood there, frozen in shock. Then rage. What the hell are you doing? I snapped. Adam stopped mid-limp, grinning like a damn idiot. Relax, it's just a joke. Samantha snorted. Yeah, don't be so sensitive, Liv. Sensitive? I could barely breathe. Are you? I swallowed, trying to control my shaking voice. Are you seriously making fun of Daniel? In his own home? After everything he's been through? Adam rolled his eyes. Come on. It's not my fault you married someone who can't keep up. I saw red. Get out, I said, my voice eerily calm. Adam blinked. What? You heard me. I crossed my arms. Get out. Both of you. Now. Samantha scoffed. You're kidding, right? Over a joke. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Oh, you think this is just about the joke? You've been disrespecting my husband from the second you moved in. You act like you own this place. You contribute nothing. And now you have the audacity to mock the man I love. I took a step forward, pointing toward the door. Get out. Adam's face twisted into something ugly. You can't be serious, he spat. Where the hell are we supposed to go? I shrugged. Not my problem. Samantha threw her hands in the air. I'm pregnant, Olivia. You're really going to kick a pregnant woman out on the street? I laughed again. Oh, now you want to play the victim? You had no problem disrespecting a disabled man in his own home, but the second it doesn't benefit you, suddenly you want sympathy. Adam snapped. You're being a real B*TCH. You know that? I didn't flinch. I didn't react. I just pointed at the door. Out. They stood there, staring at me, waiting for me to back down. But I didn't. I held my ground, silent and unwavering. Then, finally, Adam let out a bitter laugh. Fine. He grabbed his bag off the floor. But don't expect me to forgive you when you realize what a mistake this is. I stared at him, dead in the eye. I will never regret this. Samantha huffed, grabbing her coat. You're unbelievable. And then, they left. I locked the door behind them, my hands still shaking with adrenaline. Then I turned around and saw Daniel standing in the hallway. He had heard everything. His eyes were glassy, his jaw tight. You didn't have to do that, he murmured. I walked up to him, took his hands, and shook my head. Yes, I did. And for the first time in weeks, I felt peace. That night, my house felt lighter. No more entitled grumbling from the couch. No more dirty dishes left in the sink for me to clean. No more passive-aggressive jabs at my husband. Just peace. But, of course, peace never lasts when you kick out people who think they're owed everything. I should have expected the fallout. The first text came from Adam. Adam, wow, real nice, Olivia. You're seriously throwing your own brother out like garbage? I ignored it. Then Samantha. Samantha, I hope you're happy making a pregnant woman homeless. You're disgusting. I blocked her. But Adam wasn't done. Adam, you need to fix this. Let us come back, at least until the baby is born. Adam, Mom and Dad are going to hear about this, you know. There it was. The threat. And sure enough, an hour later, my phone buzzed. Mom. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. I already knew what she was going to say. I could hear her voice in my head. How could you do this to family? I let the call go to voicemail. Then it rang again, and again, until finally, I gave in and picked up. I barely had time to say hello before my mom's voice exploded through the speaker. Olivia, what the hell is wrong with you? I sighed, rubbing my temple. Hi, Mom. Don't you hi, Mommy? Adam just called, and he told me you kicked them out over nothing. I clenched my jaw. Oh, is that what he said? That it was nothing? Yes. He said you overreacted and threw them out like stray animals. I let out a bitter laugh. Did he also mention that he and his lovely girlfriend were making fun of Daniel's disability? Silence. For a second, I thought maybe, just maybe, my mother would actually see my side, that she would care. But then she sighed, exasperated. Olivia, you know Adam has a dark sense of humor. My stomach dropped. You're defending him? I asked, my voice dangerously calm. I'm saying you should have handled it better. He's your brother. And Samantha is pregnant. For God's sake. Where do you expect them to go? I shrugged, even though she couldn't see me. Not my problem. She gasped. How can you be so heartless? I clenched my teeth, gripping my phone so hard my fingers hurt. You know what's heartless? Mocking a man who has been through hell. Laughing at someone who has struggled every single day just to do things you take for granted. I could hear her breathing, heavy and irritated. You're being selfish, Olivia. That word. Selfish. I let out a breath, slow and controlled. Mom, let me ask you something, I said. If Daniel had mocked Adam for losing his job, would you be defending him? Silence. Because she knew the answer. She would have lost her mind. But Daniel? Daniel wasn't Adam. So somehow, his pain didn't matter as much. I exhaled. I'm done with this conversation. Olivia, you need to apologize. I laughed. A real bitter laugh. I'm sorry. Did you just say I need to apologize? You threw out your family, Olivia. I didn't raise you to be so. I hung up, and then I blocked her too. For the first time in my life, I put myself first, and it felt amazing. I expected silence after that call. I hoped for silence. But of course, my family didn't know how to let things go. The texts kept coming, first from Adam, then from Mom, then from other relatives I hadn't spoken to in months. Adam had gone full victim mode. Aunt Linda, I heard you kicked Adam and his pregnant girlfriend out. That's cruel, Olivia. Cousin Beth, seriously? He's your brother. Do you even care that they have nowhere to go? Mom, you need to fix this before the whole family turns their back on you. That last one made me laugh. Because, really? I had spent my entire life trying to earn a place in this family, bending over backwards to be the responsible one, the helper, the peacemaker, while Adam got away with everything. But when it came down to it, none of them gave a damn about me, or about Daniel. The only thing they cared about was protecting Adam from consequences. I didn't reply. I let them scream into the void. Daniel noticed the way I kept flipping my phone over every time it buzzed. Still them? He asked quietly. I sighed. Yep. He frowned. Do you regret it? I didn't hesitate. Not even a little. Because for once, I had stood up for us. For him. And I wasn't about to let them manipulate me into regretting it. Then, just as I was starting to feel okay again, Adam showed up at my house. I heard the pounding on the front door while I was folding laundry. Daniel was napping, exhausted after physical therapy, so I rushed to the door before it could wake him up. The second I opened it, I immediately regretted it. Adam stood there, arms crossed, looking furious. And behind him, Mom. Of course. I crossed my arms. What do you want? Mom let out a dramatic sigh. We need to talk. I raised an eyebrow. We really don't. Adam scoffed. Jesus, Olivia, can you drop the act? We're family. I let out a short, humorless laugh. Oh, now we're family? That's funny. Didn't seem like it when you were making fun of my husband in his own house. Adam's jaw clenched. Already told you it was a joke. Mom nodded. You're being unreasonable, Olivia. You need to let them come back home. I stared at her, completely dumbfounded. Why the hell would I do that? Mom gave me that look. The one she always used when she was trying to guilt trip me. Because they have nowhere else to go. Samantha is pregnant. They need a place to stay. I kept my expression blank. Not my problem. Adam let out an irritated laugh. God, you're such a B*TCH. I smiled. And yet, you're still standing on my porch, begging for help. His face twisted. Mom stepped in. Olivia, please. I know you're upset, but you don't want to destroy this family. I tilted my head. You think I'm the one destroying this family? She sighed. You know what I mean. I took a deep breath. Okay, Mom, let me ask you something. She folded her arms. What? If Daniel had made fun of Adam for losing his job, would you be standing here telling him to apologize? Her mouth snapped shut. Adam glared at me. That's not the same. It's exactly the same, I snapped. But in this family, Adam can do whatever he wants and never face consequences. And I'm done pretending that's okay. Mom's eyes hardened. So you're really choosing him over your own brother? I didn't even blink. Yes. For the first time, neither of them knew what to say. I took a step forward. Now, get off my porch. And don't come back. Adam cursed under his breath, but Mom grabbed his arm. Forget it, Adam. Let's go. She looked at me one last time, shaking her head. You'll regret this, Olivia. I smiled sweetly. I really won't. And then, I shut the door in their faces. And I felt lighter than I had in years. After I shut the door, I stood there for a second, just breathing. They were gone. For the first time in my life, I had shut them out. No guilt, no second-guessing, no begging to be understood. And the best part? I felt nothing. No regret. No sadness. Just relief. I turned around and nearly jumped when I saw Daniel standing in the hallway, rubbing his eyes. He must have woken up during the argument. You okay? He asked, his voice hoarse. I let out a slow breath and nodded. Yeah, actually I think I am. He studied my face, his expression unreadable. Then, after a beat, he smirked. You finally kicked them out for good? I laughed. Yep. He nodded approvingly. Took you long enough. I let out a breathy chuckle, shaking my head. Yeah, it did. For years, I let my family make me feel like I was less. Like I was only as valuable as what I could do for them. But standing there with my husband, the man who actually respected me, I realized something. I had been chasing the wrong people's approval. And I was done. That night, for the first time since Adam and Samantha had moved in, I slept peacefully. No anxiety, no lingering tension, no walking on eggshells in my own damn home. And, in the morning, I woke up to silence. No loud voices. No demands. No one expecting me to cater to them. Just peace. Blocking Adam and my mom was the best decision I ever made. They tried to reach out a few more times through other family members, the usual guilt-tripping, trying to spin the story to make me the villain. But I didn't care. For the first time, I wasn't playing their games. And honestly, it was freeing. Daniel noticed the difference almost immediately. You seem lighter, he said one morning over coffee. I smiled. Because I am. It was true. Without the constant drama weighing me down, I had more energy for things that actually mattered. For my husband. For myself. For once, I wasn't pouring all my time and effort into people who didn't deserve it. And that was the best feeling in the world. Adam and Samantha found another place. One of Samantha's relatives took them in. Apparently, they had burned through their welcome there too. Shocking. As for my mom, she sent one last text. "Mom, I hope you're happy, Olivia. You broke this family apart." I read it. I laughed. Then I deleted it. Because I was happy. And for the first time in my life, I didn't care what she thought.